ESPN, Patriot.
The hot topics, yeah, man. I want to see what you got.
Was that the only thing that you had?
That was it. We covered that very well. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that's bugging me, it bugs me so bad, and it actually kind of ties into this race thing. But so we all grew up in or around Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So we've listened to the radio in Detroit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Are y'all familiar with the? I'm trying to think if saying the name of the company is a good idea. Let's go with. Oh, perfect. I can say McDonald's because they're too big to care. Okay. Have you guys? And I know listening to the actual FM radio is almost unheard of in the modern age of streaming and YouTube and whatever.
Yeah.
I happened to have an opportunity to listen to an FM radio station in the city not too long ago, and I heard a McDonald's ad, and it was the most deeply offensive, pandering way of advertising that I could even imagine.
Yeah.
It was literally like. So I'm trying to even, it's hard to even describe because it sounds, if I describe it, it sounds normal.
Mm.
But when you think of what it really represents, it's infuriating. So they give advertisements to urban area radio stations that are pander to us. So whether it's the hand clapping, foot stomping, everybody, all black people go to church. They all know the organ playing in the background and. Right, exactly. Or it's the hip hop or the smooth R&B type. Yeah. Then you go out beyond city limits, and it's like, come into McDonald's today for your fresh $5 meal.
It's a normal commercial.
It's oh man, listen to me.
It's blatant.
Very few things make me more angry than something like that.
Yeah.
And it's only because it's so blatant. It's so blatant.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we know they're gonna love this. Throw somebody eating some fried chicken and sucking their fingers on the commercial. You know what I'm saying?
The big rib.
Yeah, exactly.
Big rib? Oh, man.
Right.
Right.
But that's there are other companies like the 411 Pain. I'm sure y'all have heard the jingle for 411 Pain. No. The urban jingle is call 1-800-411-PAIN. Call 1-800-411-PAIN.
I mute my TV when
that's on urban radio and urban television stations. Yeah, but then you go out to suburban areas and it's the 411 Pain. If you're hurt, injured, or in a car accident, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're here 24/7. It's night and day.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Based upon the demographic that they're searching, that they're aiming at. And I hate that we have to be subjected to their interpretation of what we will like or what we'll buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that. It bothers me so much. I noticed it and I was like, I made a note of it real fast. Like, I got to talk to the fellas about this.
I got to. I don't know you.
Go ahead.
The solution to that simply is because I don't even eat McDonald's. I don't go to McDonald's at all.
Right. Yeah.
If a couple 100,000 of us can just say, you know what, that's offensive, and then not go there, then that'll solve the problem. But what we do is, I'm fixing to go get me that hot apple pie because
up at McDonald's.
McDonald's. They talking my language. So I'm fixing to get on up there. That's what we do. Yeah. They pander to us because we respond.
Yeah.
If we honestly, because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of businesses I actually don't support now simply because of that right there.
Yeah.
That foolishness. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even talk like that.
Yeah. Right.
And so, but if there was a way, fellas, that we could really impress upon our community, don't do that.
Yes.
Because just like my father told me, don't give them what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's money in that. It's billions of dollars in pandering to us because we're probably the only group that it really works for. You know what I'm saying?
It's the only group that they even attempt. Because you don't go to an Arabic community and they have a McDonald's commercial that's got somebody on there saying something crazy or offensive or racist. You know what I'm saying?
They're not. But because those communities won't even acknowledge it though.
Right.
They first of all, they're gonna pretty much for the most part patronize their own.
Sure.
You know, and they don't deal with certain things mentally, I think, that aids to that whole we want approval all the time. You know what I'm saying? We're approval seeking. So for us to be pandered to, we don't look at it as pandering. We look at it like, they paying attention to us, doc. We got a voice now, doctor.
Rev?
Yeah, we got a voice. They listen to us. They see us.
Right.
It's just like,
And
come on, guys. It's so bad, though. Yeah. It's so, like you said, because it's always a church scene. It's always something, like a car wash scene, or just some Negroes clowning.
Yeah,
it's just something that they
to me, all I see is shucking and jiving. Just,
exactly. Go get me this corn on the cob.
Yep, that's all I see.
It goes back to the car. I mean, I was talking to one of my sons about this yesterday too. It goes back to what we were talking about before. Because I try to, it's the same kind of thing, like in controlling your reactions.
Yeah.
And yes, it's infuriating and it makes me extremely upset.
It's a trigger. It looks like it's a trigger.
It is, bro. It is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I'm trying to adjust the way I would approach it, and the way we as a community should approach it, right? Because without having to say, "Oh, I'm tired of this. I don't like this group. I don't like this company. I don't like this whatever," and instead of letting them get that kind of negative energy out of us,
right?
It goes, again, I've talked about this before for hip hop and exactly what you were just talking about. We are the only community I'm aware of anyway, the only community that pays so heavily into a genre of music or any company or business or industry at all that is profiting on our destruction. And we buy into it and love it. I don't see anybody else that's that stupid than to contribute to something that is purposely degrading and destroying your people.
Helping you meet your demise.
So instead of, something like that is out there, it's stupid. And I don't want to put energy out there like, oh, we got to boycott and stay away from them and this and that. I want us to get to the point where we can announce, and again, I think a podcast like this is a great idea, but something that we can rally behind as a community and say, you know what, this company is doing well for us. This company represents us well. This company, this and that, and find the ones that are doing the things that we want and just throw our money behind them.
I agree.
And not just throw our money. When I say throw our money behind them, what do I mean? I mean that we talk about and organize. This is a day we're going to go and as a community support this company because they're painting us in a good light. They're doing something positive for the community. They're investing back in the community. They're doing whatever good, right? It's like I don't care about all the people that's out there doing stupid stuff. If we just turn our attention towards the things that we do want and that we need, other things are going to fall off or correct themselves anyway. You know what I mean? Right. And we got to get to that point where we find our businesses and businesses that put us in the right light and throw our momentum and our funding behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, same thing with music, just that we have to the Kanye discussion again, right? I don't know of anybody in business that wouldn't take an opportunity to make money when they see it in their industry, right? I don't blame them. Right. And we talked about my man, Leo Cohen and everything else and what he said about it, how he puts his kids through college. Yeah, I get that.
Right.
I get it.
Yep.
Right, because if we weren't loving that music so much and putting our money behind that industry, he wouldn't have that money to put his kids. He'd find some other way, right? So for him to find a way to get in and capitalize on us being willing to throw our dollars into this music that contributes to destroying us, somebody else capitalizing on it, he's a businessman. I understand that. Yeah. The problem, is he a part of the problem? Yeah, to some degree. Right. But he's not the one that's generating the billions of dollars that's feeding that industry like that.
Exactly.
Right? So we have to get smart enough to the point where we decide that we're going to stop just backing something because it's ratchet and it represents, again, the worst part of us. And decide that we're going to get behind something that puts us in the right light. Just like you mentioned the commercials. If we do the same thing with music, you wouldn't have people that are profiting off of our destruction because you wouldn't have us that's doing it and you wouldn't have us that's buying it.
I agree.
We are on both ends of that spectrum. The middleman, I don't care about.
Nope.
I don't care about. We are making the music or we're buying the music.
Yep.
Anybody else is profiting off of that, that's not on them. That's on us. So until we get smart enough to start doing something different and say we're going to change the music that we make and then support that positive music, anybody else that's the middleman that's profiting off of that, the McDonald's or whoever else, we're to blame.
Yeah.
We're to blame, not them.
Yeah.
And until we can rally together and do something constructive and collectively that is positive and that is meaningful to our community, then shame on us. We deserve it.
I agree.
We deserve it. If we're gonna keep throwing our money behind it, we deserve exactly what we got coming to us.
Yep,
we have to. If you love it and you buy into it, you deserve it.
And I think, for me, I and this might be naive or blindly hopeful. I think that we can actually turn the tide. It's just we have to have enough of us to want to take that initiative to do simple things. Because I've taken an initiative in the past few years where I would, with my videography, I would actually do little commercials for small businesses for free and let them post it or whatever.
Right.
And then I'll even post on my Facebook or Instagram, hey, support. I just did it the other day, like with some cupcakes. Support this business. Here's their website. Do it all the time. Because my whole thing is that if you don't do that, nobody will even know.
Right.
But that's like taking that initiative.
Yes.
And I promise you, when people see you do it and you have some level of influence, they actually do it too. Because their thing is, hey, this makes sense to me. Like I want my cousin's business to make it.
Right.
And if that man is over there promoting it, then I'm going to do it too.
Right.
Because, man, I'm telling you, we are in a society where people want to be led.
Yes.
And they will follow if it makes sense. But we have to have
follow even if it don't.
Yes, that's true.
Man,
that's true.
That's more than likely they'll do it if it don't.
Right.
You going off that cliff?
Right.
I'll be there with you.
Right. How many followers you got?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll be right with you.
Right.
But if we literally, because I love that, but see, we can only talk to people that talk our language, the ones that look like us.
Yeah.
Because there's a multitude of them that forget about it. Like I'm just trying to get my paper, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's so scary.
I ain't caring about what y'all talking about.
But again, it's about normalizing it though, right?
Yeah.
That is normal.
Right.
That's the baseline, and that's why everybody feels so comfortable with it. If we start making that, like you said, everybody is groupthink.
Yeah.
Most people follow groupthink, right?
Yeah.
If you start making that the exception, you know what I mean? If you start making that to be the odd man out that acts like that, they're going to change their behavior.
They will.
It's because it's so widely accepted, and it's because that's what's in front of everybody that they feel comfortable doing that. Let's make them uncomfortable.
I agree with that.
Right? And again, that's easier said than done, but that's the direction we got to be moving in. You know what I mean? We have to normalize the kind of conversation we're having right now, the kind of mindset we talk about in this podcast. We have to normalize that. And not just for us, but for everybody else that's looking at us too, to realize that no, that which you see is not the standard. That's not the normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And I think we all have to be at a point in our lives where we don't dim our light.
Right.
Like whatever message you have that makes sense, whoever you are, and it makes sense, you know it does.
Right.
You know you're sowing into your community in a positive way.
Yeah.
Don't dim it. Don't dumb it down.
Right. Yeah.
Amplify it.
Because
like I was telling you, there's so much trash out here, man. So much people doing and they're constant conductors of evil and confusion.
Right.
Authors of darkness. And they're always getting away with all kinds of stuff. Right. So why wouldn't we just have that audacity to go ahead and just say, you know what? I'm tired of all this.
For sure.
I'm tired of being treated a certain way. So what I'm going to push is this over here.
Right.
And I'm going to make it popular.
Right.
Because whatever we do, man, we can make it popular.
Yeah.
We really can. We just have to have a certain focus on it.
Right.
And if we want to promote honesty and integrity and things like that, we can make that popular.
For sure.
But
for sure,
it has to be the level of conviction that these morons out here have on their stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a level of conviction and stupidity.
Absolutely.
Like, man, I'm an idiot and I want to be because it make me money. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, come on, man.
Right.
Like, it's people have been so disappointed that want to just take that easy path. And like you said, we are the least passive path of resistance when we're product and consumer.
That's right.
Mean, everybody on the globe knows it.
Right.
A Chaldean guy will go over to the east side and set up shop in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Not on the main street.
Absolutely.
He'll put his store in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And will not be able to keep stock.
That's right.
On that malt liquor and Swisher Sweets.
Yep.
I mean, he won't be able to keep the stock.
Right.
And so my thing is like recognizing stuff like that, and it's up to households, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't reach anybody. It's up to the household.
Right.
But how can we impress the household?
Right.
How can we go on social media and say, hey, guys, this is not normal. I mean, malt liquor is waste. It literally is. It's the skim off the top. Yeah, it's like, why would you drink that crap? Or, and tell your kid that.
Right.
That's the perfect question.
Right.
Tell your kids these different little things.
Right.
Because if you don't tell them, who's going to tell them?
Yeah. Right.
And so that's the charge we have to take.
Yeah.
Because we have peers. We have our peers, people that are our age, younger, a little older, that have kids. People my age is probably grandparents. And so we can actually have some influence over there. And it can start there. And then the word of mouth is like, yeah, man, you shouldn't do that like that.
Right.
I heard somebody was talking about this, and, you could do it like this. It's always a better way.
Right.
We can have that influence. We can do it subtly. We can speak the language of our people and get it out there. And we can green book a lot of the businesses that we want to.
I love that.
Yeah, we can green book it, man. We can put a list together and say, hey, go on the east side, go over here over by 696. I got a list of businesses. If you want some foods, you want clothes, you want shoes, you want real estate, you want a home improvement, you want art, anything that you want is in your community, and these are the people you want to support. And you do that, man, and put a mandate on it, like really like say, go here. Now, I'm only promoting people that's got good service and good product.
No, that's real.
You know, because there's some hood junk out there. You know what I'm saying? There's some hood junk out there.
See, that's good. You know, I was just listening. Once again, I'm listening to everything, and I agree with everything that you're saying about being upset. It is frustrating, man. It is real frustrating to market a particular type of event or whatnot towards us as if all of us think like that. You know what I mean? And I think that's not cool. That someone is profiting from that. And someone actually gave the green light. You know what I'm saying? Took the time to put a green light in order for that.
Somebody said, turn that organ up a little bit more.
They produced it.
Right, yeah.
Love that chicken.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Love that chicken. Love that chicken.
Louisiana fast. Woo!
I hate that shit, man. That's my least favorite.
God.
so,
Bro,
you know,
it drives me crazy.
It's like this. Is it Maudeville from whatnot? Maudeville or whatnot, where you have all the actors or whatnot. Vaudeville.
Yeah.
So you have vaudeville or whatnot. That type of approach to what we're used to, because I think, and let me take a step back, man, because if you think about Detroit and the legacy of Detroit. Right, Detroit before Paradise, all that happened.
Oh yeah. Black Bottom and all that.
Black Bottom, like my dad grew up in all that, and he remembered when the freeway went through all that. Right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He knew that there were barbershops, banks, you know what I mean, all this type of stuff that happened in Detroit. Right, and this is not nothing new. Yeah. This happened in Detroit, Philly. It happened in Oklahoma. We know it. It happens
everywhere there was a prominent black community.
Exactly.
It happens. Harlem. It happens all the time. But the thing is, this is like
Central Park.
Central Park, yes. The whole of Central Park used to be a black community.
Yes,
They just buried
it.
I didn't know
it's
that.
Right, it's there. It's under it.
Still there underwater.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yes, bro.
It's infuriating.
You gotta look that up.
Yeah.
All right, so
we can't carry this topic too long. I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna
I see him over there. I see steam coming out.
I'm gonna start kicking over cameras.
But the thing is, it's like
Tasmanian devil.
Right.
Like when you think about all this stuff, man, that means something, right? That means something. That means that for us, for our group to be destroyed like that, that means that we have something great to offer, right? You know what I mean? And we know that. How did we become hyper consumers in that age? Like you said, that we not only writing the music, but we buying the music at the same time. And who's the middle ground? Who's winning? And how do we stop that? Like you said, the Green Book and whatnot, and start focusing on good product. You know what I mean? And how do we get there? You said you normalize it, and you get to a point where I'm trying to, the reason why I was quiet, because I'm trying to articulate my thought clear enough, because there's so much to consider and so much to evaluate, right?
Yeah.
We grew up in a time in Detroit. We grew up in a time in Detroit where the drugs hit rampant in the 80s, right? I mean, you had Devil's Night and everything, where all blocks across Detroit were like blaze, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the drugs, cats was selling drugs to their aunts and people that you grew up in school around the corner, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's like ground zero, right? Now, and I think that, how can I explain it? We're not, man, I can't even explain it, man. Because
normalizing is definitely a good start. That's like normalizing whatever it is we want to achieve is and normalizing at a leadership level.
Yeah, that's that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, because if once you do that, it's undeniable the effects of that. Because even your hood Negroes, they gotta respect and they gotta bow down to somebody in leadership saying, we're not gonna take you clowns like coming into the community, terrorizing everybody and wreaking havoc. We're not going to tolerate it. Yeah. Once you do that, it's a wrap. But you have to normalize it at a grand scale. It can't just be like, let's think about it and then revisit it. It has to be like, put a charge on your leadership, And then secondly, don't let everybody in your house.
Yeah.
I mean, we let people in too much. You know, we're too forgiving. We let everybody in. We want a partnership with all these different people, and then we don't want a partnership with each other on a consistent basis the way that we need to. We have to let one another know we trust each other.
Right.
You know,
Right.
once that happens, those types of communications, then we can get somewhere. We can actually start moving the needle. We can get the ball rolling in our lifetime. I mean, it ain't got to be like we all dead and gone, and then somebody talking about, let's talk about normalizing again. Let's revisit that again. Let's
Right.
It's like
Well,
just
if you
start
think about
back.
it,
But that's what happened.
That's
exactly
I know, yeah,
because if you think about it, like
think about the civil rights movement.
I know.
yeah,
That's where my mind goes.
Yeah.
The civil rights movement was exactly what you just described.
Yes,
Everything that you said was encompassed within the civil rights movement.
Man, Mike, you looking pretty angry, man. Your eyebrows are kind of doing.
Bro,
His eyebrows. This man said encompassed.
I'm a calm guy in
Yeah, I know.
most
I'm
situations.
sorry.
But no, you're right though.
Civil right- yeah,
It's very it's infuriating to me to know that we are, as a people, generally underfoot.
It's really
Inversion.
infuriating. You know what's really infuriating is if you talk in a group of fellas. Because I've been in groups of fellas, and they're like, yeah, we need to do this, we need to do that. And then they just all go home.
Yeah.
So that actually happens. Like, I'm
happens
gonna tell
a
you
lot.
this. I actually feel like we actually would do something. I actually feel that way.
So
Just even with the podcast or just how we put everything out there, I think we would actually do something even in just how we conduct ourselves.
So that's actually what
look
I
at
was
like
getting ready
this.
to ask
Yeah.
about.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
In every major cultural shift in history, right? Great scream. In every major cultural shift in history that I can think of, there was a charismatic figurehead that led the charge.
Yeah.
From Moses to Joshua to Jesus to Genghis Khan to Alexander to Caesar to Martin Luther King to George Washington to every major shift in the way that the world's culture existed. Maybe not started with that figure, but eventually a figure arose from among the people and led that charge. Because it's great if I have the idea and you across town have the idea and you on the other side of the country or the other side of the world have the idea and there's tens of thousands of us. If there's no uniting under one idea, let's take the Green Book idea. If we were to create some sort of Green Book for every major metropolitan area in the country, that would change so much.
There's already a website like that for Detroit, though, for all like black-owned businesses.
Yes, right. They are right. You're right. They exist all over the place, but that's my point, though.
Yeah.
That directly speaks to my point because a lot of these things and these ideas and these concepts and even they exist tangibly.
Right.
The things that we want exist. It's a matter of uniting the people so that everybody's on the same page. Think about the Montgomery bus boycotts. That was something, you know how hard that would be to arrange today? The way that media, and it's one of the things that I blame most is our music. The way we entertain ourselves is the thing that I blame more than anything else.
100%.
The programming that has come from the media that we consume, that we consider entertainment, has driven such a divide between us.
Right.
And not even just this section versus that section. The media, the way that we entertain ourselves now, forces a mindset that says it's about me and nobody else. I come before everybody and I stand alone. I'm an island. We got all of these talk. I got it out the mud. I never had any help. No, you know what I'm saying?
I hate that.
But this is but this is where we are. I came up with no help. It's all me. You know, one of Drake's most popular songs. It's all me. No help. It's all me. Which, you know, I like Drake, but at the same time, we have to consider.
Though. They be lying.
Oh, absolutely.
They come from two-parent homes with educated.
Exactly.
I know.
Right. Scholarships and all kind of stuff.
They be lying, man.
But my point is, there are those who believe that and they grasp to those concepts and those ideologies. So much so that to organize something that is as powerful and impactful as, you know, something like the Million Man March or the Montgomery bus boycott or any of these major movements that shifted things throughout history, I just don't. To be honest with you, I don't see how we could get people to congeal together in order to make that type of movement in this generation.
That's what I think we got to put effort behind, though, is how to figure that out, because it's another part of the conversation I was having with my son last night. When we rally behind a leader, you put a crosshair in that leader's head.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And we have not seen, we got so traumatized by what the 60s did to our leaders. We've not had one reliable, consistent, worthwhile leader step up since then.
That encompasses all of our ideals, because I can think of 2 or 3 right this moment that are charismatic. They have a humongous following.
That's what I'm saying.
But people who I wouldn't get behind.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they don't encompass.
They're there. There's quote unquote people that want to step out front as leaders. But
You go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
Because the thing is, it's like those that are stepping up, like you said, those that you want to get behind, they're backed by somebody else or some type of thing.
Sometimes, but for me personally, yes, you're right. I definitely think that some of these guys got people pulling the strings. But for me, it's more about what they represent on a more holistic scale. You know, you might be about the advancement of black people, but you're also a bigot yourself. Or you might be a pedophile, or any number of different else. Yeah, exactly. There are things that I wouldn't necessarily.
So what if you do this like to me, this is just me, y'all. I don't really care about, like, once again, the introvert kicks in, right? Yeah. Like, from a mass scale, I don't necessarily, that won't be the forefront of my mind.
Which part?
But as far as, like, change across the whole board, right? Because to me, I don't look at that as reality. That's just me. But if you start off with the people that, like you said, that think like you, and then hopefully it kind of migrates along, I probably won't survive, like, with that mindset. Like, if I become a leader behind something, right? Which probably, if I'm an introvert, more likely I will want sergeants, somebody with me. I will want collective people like-minded, let's say of us, then we can establish something. And no one knows who the leader is.
But see, that's the key. That's the key. What we need to take away from what happened in the 60s is we can't survive. I don't want to have a civil rights type movement that makes the kind of progress it did in the 60s, all the leaders get killed and we go 60 years with nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We can't survive with that happening again.
Right.
If we don't change the way that we move when it comes to stuff like that and get everybody with that same leadership mentality, we can't survive with one leader. We can't survive and can't wait for one person to step out into the crosshairs and become the next leader. We need everybody to be leaders themselves. We need to kind of pass the mentality off for everybody that if one person gets taken out, like you said, either mask the leader or have everybody kind of doing their different parts or whatever, somehow getting on the same page. But we can't survive with one leader again.
Right.
We can't.
You're right.
We can empower one another. To feel like each leader,
Absolutely.
It's as a psychological thing more than anything that you would have to develop in one another.
Absolutely.
And Absolutely. I think that that's where that honesty come in. Like if I have a strength that you don't, you know what I'm saying, and you have a strength that I don't, we can both balance one another, or whatever the case may be across the board. So we can establish that foundation and move forward. You know what I mean? And in me, I don't want to be on the front line. That's just me, okay? I'm just speaking to myself. I won't want to be on the front line, but I would love to work in the background on things, making moves. That's just me. That's like how I like to operate. And then you would never know who's actually doing the driving behind it.
That's important.
That's just,
It's imperative for the black community, for us as the black community, the mission statement must be at all times, we promise we'll play to your strengths, but leave the ego at the door. Once you do that,
that's key. Man.
Everybody's going to feel, because you want to plant the two seeds in the mind that you're going to shine, but leave the ego at the door. Because everybody want to shine, everybody want to make money. That disbands like most of the positive movements in the black community is money is the issue, becomes the issue. Like my man making, he made that off his nonprofit, but then my stuff ain't get. It's like churches fault. Like if you want to look at the condition of the black community, look at how many churches you have on one block. That tells you right there the division. Man. You go in Wyoming, you got 6 churches. So you know what I'm saying? You go in another part of Detroit. In Detroit, there's over 10,000 churches. Not in the Detroit metropolitan area, just in Detroit. That lets you know the level of division that we're dealing with here.
Yes, it does.
And so the thing is, So we got to be careful with the leadership thing because, I want everybody to feel like a leader.
Right.
But at the same time, you got to tell them, you can't be a part of this. Leave the ego at the door.
Right.
Because that's going to always be the death of us at all times.
Absolutely.
And we got to take out the victim mentality thing, And then we have to stop giving it up. Stop being bought out, man. It's Negroes get bought for nothing, man. They sell their masters for nothing.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, guys.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
That's my 2 cents.
You actually said what Frederick Douglass said. The best thing you could do for the Negro is leave them alone. You know,
Just leave them alone.
Let them figure it out.
But that's the fear, though. That's the thing. They know that we're valuable. We don't know we're valuable.
That's the key.
They see us, but we don't see us. They know that there's something there, and that's why they keep. Everybody wants to be us, man. Literally, what are tanning salons about? That's ridiculous to me. It's $1 billion industry, a tanning salon. What does that even mean? What that means, they want to look like us. Botox, all of this. Curl. I've worked at a job, at my old job. They were like an Asian girl, Korean girl came up. She's like, "Our hair is so kinky." I'm like, what am I, an animal? You know what I'm saying? We're
what
like,
am I, animal?
it's like everything is like so amazing about us.
Yeah.
And I take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, we got to see it though.
Yeah.
You know, because Negroes, man, I mean, Roland Martin was just talking about on his news program. He said a black dude called up. He was like, hey man, it's cool to see you out there, man. But you need to get on a real news program. It's like, I do have a real news program. I'm in the same studio that NBC or CNN is. But that Negro that called up, he didn't think that Roland Martin had a real news program. And I'm like, those are the buck and shine type of dudes.
Versus field.
Exactly.
That's what that is.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking to that guy, though. You know what I'm saying? We're talking to the ones that actually know what's going on. Because look here, man, we are a community of people that want to work together.
Yeah.
But we got to stop letting people in. We have to stop letting the authors of confusion and the authors of darkness come in and tell us how to think and how to look at one another. We gotta band together with our women and us as men and figure this thing out. We let people in all the time. We need to band with these white folks over here because what they gonna do is they gonna get us on. It's like, no, they're not.
Man.
They're gonna turn you, they're gonna bend you over, drop your pants, and take you for everything you got. That's what they gonna do. And then you gonna be blimping home to I ain't got nothing, man.
Blimping home.
Yeah, man. I mean,
they've been doing it for the last 400 years.
Yes.
I actually, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not going to say enjoy it because I don't like anything about slavery. I despise it, right? Yeah. I despise the stories. I despise it, but it's learning something so I can avoid situations and I can have compassion moving forward about all situations because it's a horrendous thing that happened, right?
Yeah.
But being that Emancipation, I watched that.
I watched it too.
I was like, man, the way Will Smith did
film.
that, oh my God. Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah, Fuqua, Will Smith, they did it. I put a review out there on my Facebook. I took it down. Yeah, but I took it down. Only because I just feel like taking it down. But one dude, he like right before I took it down, he was like, "Come on, man." He was like, we not asleep. We in a coma, and all that stuff. My problem with Negroes is that most people I have found out based on responses, they won't see the film not because of the film, it's because of Will Smith. I'm like, are you serious?
Stop.
So it's not about the slave topic this time. It's about Will Smith.
That's what I'm saying.
Black people, get it together. We have an identity crisis.
It is.
Will Smith. Yeah, Will Smith, man, he did an amazing job. The dude is undeniable. I wasn't going to see it, but Jacques hit me up. And he texted me. He's like, hey, man, he was like, Emancipation was good. He was like, see. So I saw it. And I was like, it is undeniable. And Will Smith actually did good with the accent.
The really?
Did he?
Yeah,
yes.
because he wasn't an African.
It was a Haitian French.
Yeah.
And it was beautifully
and I was like,
done.
wow.
And he worked hard at that film, man.
So check this out, man. When I was watching it, man, and I highly recommend it.
I would recommend it. It's good. Because it's about that man's story.
Yeah, man, Peter, man. Whipped Peter. And when I was watching it, it was a different type of slavery flick that you won't necessarily see. You actually see
You about to spoil it.
No. Okay,
so picture this. It opens on
that's your man.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to see it. I just haven't seen it.
Definitely check it out.
I'm not going to tell you, but I will say this: it put a twist on there to make you say Man, I don't even want to say nothing, man.
It literally showed Will Peter was a strong black man, and he was
strong. And
Will Smith encompassed the humanity and the strength of that man as he was being chased through the swamp as an animal. The dude was MacGyvering his way out of it.
Yeah, I read.
And the film highlights that. Fuqua did a good. It was beautifully shot.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you,
because
the cinematography was amazing.
You know that most of it was just their own poetic license, so to speak, because there was very little known about Will Peter.
Exactly. And they did pretty good. They showed a strong black man out in the field. Because as soon as he heard, he was like, "Oh, Lincoln's about to sign that and do the emancipation." As soon as he heard that, he was like, "Hey, we out here." He told the other niggas, "Let's get out of here, man." And so, but he showed a lot of strength and fearlessness, and he was no joke. And Will Smith was perfect for that. And they highlighted it in a way where it wasn't like Hollywood. It didn't feel Hollywood. It just felt like this is how we are, though. Any situation you put us in, even in that particular situation, which. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm tired of seeing those types of films too, because there's a million stories out there about us that don't involve that, right? But if you're gonna show that, this is the way to show it. Yeah, like that's what I was. We're smart. We could get out of stuff, and it actually has a happy ending.
But the thing is, this is the thing. Like what? And I was talking to Tamara about this. I was like, I even like how the wife was. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that was like brilliant to me, because there is a narrative that's been shown more and more about the family, the
black family, right?
You see what I'm saying?
We don't see it no more. We're not being shown it.
Yeah, and this is in the movie showed a very, very beautiful black.